asking you, Graham, you're Irish, and you were mentioning before the show that it's getting pretty serious in Ireland. We were talking about, you said it was in the city of Cork.
Yeah,
the most common name is now Mohammed.
I'm pretty sure it was Cork that the most common name is Mohammed. Yeah, and it just seems to be there doesn't seem to be any planning behind what's going on. It just seems to be get them in. Whatever you can do, get them in. It's like an emergency.
So the funny thing is, because you're saying like the left seems to just want to do this. One of the talking points that has been prevalent for the past several years is that Sinn Féin, I'm pronouncing it correctly, they were the party of Ireland for the Irish, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they're the party of open the gates and let every non-Irish person come in.
Yeah, and they're the party of any left-wing view that they think gets them on the front foot.
That's one way to destroy Irish nationalism, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the things they support are just like antithetical to everything they've been fighting for. It's so strange. But they're also big into the trans thing as well. And it's like
how Irish, like what an Irish tradition. Right?
Exactly. But like the biggest problem is not so much like the activists themselves. The problem is the media landscape, which just has it all locked down. So you cannot talk about these things. There's a guy who just brought out a book. I think it's called Vandalising Ireland, I think is the name of it. And he writes about all this, and it's just not being stocked in bookshops. Like my memoir wasn't. My memoir was hidden in bookshops and stuff like this. And when I was arrested the other day, a few weeks ago, there wasn't a report on RTE, and I'm the writer of a sitcom that's really beloved by Irish people,
I think well known by even people in the United States.
Yeah, especially if they're into UK comedy, but it's crazy. It's just so locked down. You cannot really find out what's going on, and it's not a country that's like the most. Even though we host a lot of people like Apple and stuff like that, that's another reason why the place has gone very woke, because all their engineers are woke. And it's they're not the type Irish people. I think now they're kind of turning and they're going to different sources for information, and some of them are good and some of them aren't. So, but unfortunately, they have no guidance. They've no way of knowing what's up and what's down because the Irish media is just not doing their job.
What is Irish media like, if you don't mind me asking?
Very woke at the moment, insanely woke. There was a funny thing where when Jimmy Kimmel got thrown off the show for 3 days.
Poor guy.
Yeah. This guy who hosts a show over there said, "Come over here, Jimmy. We'll let you say anything you want, anything the fuck you want."
Oh, edgy.
Yeah. And of course they've never invited me on. They've never invited Ellen Joyce on. Who's a genius on all this stuff. And they're. I've never seen anything like it. It is like the whole place is just lying by omission.
Exactly. Well, this is funny because one thing you'll hear from people in the UK and these lefties in the UK is they'll go, by European standards, the United States is a far-right country. I'm like, yeah, by European standards, not going to jail for Facebook posts is far-right. Yeah. So I'm kind of comfortable with being considered far-right by all standards.
I mean, to be fair, even in the UK, my arrest provoked complete disbelief and disgust.
I'm glad.
Yeah. It was actually surprising to me that there was a reaction even among corporate media in the United States that your arrest was shocking.
Yeah.
There were outlets that I'm like, these are libs who cheer for this stuff are shocked now that you got arrested for your naughty words.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And I'm just the most visible. I know so many women who've been thrown in a cell who've had, there's one woman. Her name is Caroline Farrow. She lives in Sussex, and she's been harassed by the same small group of men for about 10 years.
What's actually interesting. Just before we started the show, I pulled up a clip from Father Ted where there's a sticker on the window.
Yeah.
The Chinese guys are walking up, and he's waving to them, but then from their point of view, they see the small mustache and they call and he's doing the Roman salute, and then they turn around and walk away, and he's like, "Why are they leaving? Why?" And then it turns around and you see him going. The funny thing is, it's a very similar joke to what Count Dankula did. Are you familiar with what?
Oh, not only am I familiar, I joined in his cancellation when I was in my lefty NPC days.
You joined in?
I did. In fact, I recorded an apology for his roast. And they played it at his roast. And basically, I just believed the narrative, which was that at the time, you see, the thing I didn't understand was that every single journalist was lying to me.
Right.
And there was this thing.
Rookie mistake.
There was this thing of they're using comedy to disguise, but they're actually really Nazis. And I bought it. I just swallowed it because it was the media I was consuming. You know?
And you know what's crazy is that he was probably inspired by you.
Yeah, exactly. And he was nice, and he tried to make approaches, and other fans of his were nice, and I just couldn't see it. I couldn't accept it, and I think one thing I'm useful for now is that I can see when other people are in that zone where they're just not allowing anything in that will change their mind because they're worried they'll end up on a podcast with Tim Pool.
Well, what changed it for you to where you realized they were lying to you?
I'm not. I think it was just seeing how the trans thing was being misreported. It was always they're not letting trans girls play sports. And most people, if you ask them what trans girls means, they think people mean trans-identified women, right? Yeah. And they don't.
Well, because they have these mental acrobats of vocabulary that you have to, jump through all of these hoops to try and understand what's going on.
Yeah, I always say it's a very simple thing, just opposite. Trans means opposite. So.
Exactly. That's what I always say. Trans means it's a prefix indicating is not a.
Yes. So trans healthcare is mutilation, is sterilization. It's the opposite to healthcare.
It's not life-saving?
No. Right.
Yeah, I was told repeatedly.
Life shortening.
Right.
Life-shortening.
It is. It's
like, did you know, like, for instance, this is one of the things I've learned in the last few years. And again, these were the type of thing that I thought, I'll tell people this and someone will rush in to stop it, And it was that all these young girls who you see on testosterone, right? And the young women with mustaches who look like, when they, there's an effect when they stand next to trans women, it looks like Lord of the Rings. Because the size difference is so crazy. And but the serious thing about it is that all these young women have been told they're turning into young gay men. A lot of them are like have romanticized gay relationships beyond all recognition, and so they've been told they'll turn into young gay men. The truth is, they're all going to go into menopause too early.
Yeah,
and menopause is no joke. And so all these young girls have been told, you'll be accepted in gay spaces, and and they're not being accepted either. That's another thing.
For some reason, no one holds the gay men to account and says, "Hey, if you don't, if you're not attracted to these mutilated women, then you're transphobic." No one tells the gay men.
It's always the trans women, right? It's always like, if you're not attracted to trans women, you're a transphobe. It's like, guess which side I'm going to pick in that.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're going to call me a mean name if I'm not attracted to a trans woman? The horror.
Yes, and so the straight men don't care.
Yeah.
And really what ends up happening is lesbians end up being told that they have to be interested in these fake women. Mm-hmm. And young women who have transitioned go into early menopause and can't get a date anyway.
There's a great comic somebody made,
disaster.
and apparently this is based on real situations that have actually occurred, but someone made a really funny comic where there's a woman with her trans woman friend, and she's like, don't worry, I set you up with another woman, and the trans woman's all excited, and then gets there and sees that it's another trans woman, like, you should have set me up with an actual woman, how could you do this to me, and starts screaming at her.
One thing that's crazy is modern dating apps as well.
Yes.
I was reading like a Reddit thread. I guess I'm lucky. I got the last chap out of Nam. I'm married. I have a kid.
Yeah.
The younger generation, though, I was reading something on Reddit where they were saying that they were getting sick of using Tinder because it was like every other woman, it was a man saying they were a woman.
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't even want any, not even 1%. But because they say I'm legally a woman, they go on dating apps and put themselves down as women.
Oh, I've got an incredible story about that. Grindr, the gay app. So young girls are now going on Grindr saying they're gay men, right? Because they've been told that they will be accepted as gay men, and they are not being accepted as gay men. But what is happening is there's been this huge kind of influx of straight men pretending to be gay and predating on these young women.
Oh,
what?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but that,
So are those
this is-
relationships working out? I feel like
No,
they might be onto
they're
It's
something.
just a straight relationship with extra steps.
There was
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But but the women think the guys are gay and think, oh, he's accepting me for being a gay.
But it's just
man.
like a guy who likes butch women with like beards.
Exactly. Although there was one discussion. This is how horrific it is. There was one discussion. This guy was saying to another guy, "I swear to God, they're all so desperate, and if you get in early, you can get there before any of the testosterone takes effect."
Oh, that's so sad.
You know. So this is the time. And then if a gay man goes up and complains about it, they get thrown off. You know.
Let's get back to the news.
Well, this is what I've always. I just want to make this one point. And this is my. Of course, Seamus is going to come in and say this is a Catholic, but like, as soon as we abandon these traditions, the new thing always falls apart immediately. Immediately.
How do you think, as from the Catholic perspective, because the Catholic Church used to tell people, repeat the virtues, the 7 virtues. Like you
You mean
say
like
it.
in Catholic schools, maybe?
Or in maybe a
I
church
guess I
or
hadn't
whatever.
heard of- I hadn't
They
heard of-
reinforce the virtuous part, and then we don't force speech now in the United States. We have free speech. So how do you reinforce it without coming across preachy, without being forceful?
No, it's a good question. I think that like a lot of it is parents just have to live the values out and they have to understand them well enough to explain them to their children. And I think it's difficult to say there's any kind of school system you can trust to teach them that. But virtue is so important because you are just much easier to control if you're living in vice. There's so many things the system can dangle in front of you and say, we'll remove your access to this, that, or the other because you value that thing more than your own dignity.
Did you see, Ian, you've heard about this, right? Where they hooked the electrode up to the rat's brain and it would press the button, it would stimulate the dopamine. And then all it would do is just keep hitting the button, it wouldn't eat.
That's us. That's what this is. That's what this thing is that I keep pressing. It gives me like a dopamine hit.
Right now, there are people watching on their phone, just staring at it as we talk.
If you're in the machine and the machine is telling you about the 7 virtues and it's just telling you all day, that's different than actually embodying the virtues or seeing your father embody the virtue. Because like the dad can tell you one thing and then do another thing, and you're going to mimic his behavior, not his words.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.